Greetings, pilots. Welcome back to the Imperial Academy. You're here because you have a calling, don't you? You want to fly through the stars, above the battlefield, and in amongst the Star Destroyers and capital ships of the Grand Imperial Navy. In that case, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy Galactic Empire or Star Wars content, and feel free to share this video to show your allegiance to the Empire. And without further ado, let's look into the Imperial Starfighter Corps. Now, those of you with a keen eye may have noticed that there are 4 videos uploaded already pertaining to the 4 base TIE models, the TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, TIE Bomber and TIE Reaper. Before we start here, I would recommend watching them before this, as they go over each of the 4 main TIE variants and their history, characteristics and strategies and tactics used in the battlefield. Now, before we start, I have decided to change up the formula a little bit, with the videos I produce for the Starfighter Corps, having them be structured and produced in a similar format to the Cadet's Guide to the Imperial Navy. This format should allow me to cover many different aspects of the Starfighter Corps, from the vehicles, to the ranks, to the pilots, to engineering, etc., instead of droning on about each of the different TIE models. For those of you in the Trooper Corps, I can guarantee your videos will get the same treatment. Anyway, starting off, the first thing rookie pilots need to know when it comes to flying the TIE family of fighters is that you occupy one of the most dangerous roles within the Empire. Death is a very common occurrence, as the vacuum of space is an extremely harsh and unforgiving environment. Along with space, other dangers include enemy pilots, more specifically rebel pilots, debris and asteroid, enemy capital ships, cosmic anomalies, and most importantly, your own mistakes. Do not let my words discourage you though, as it is important to recognise your mistakes and improve as a result, and when you do that, well, let's just say that other Imperial branches will be looking to you to help them in their most dire moments. So let's start with the Starfighter Corps history, then its characteristics, and lastly what you can expect from being a pilot within this branch of the Galactic Empire. All good things in the Empire, of course, can trace themselves back to the Galactic Republic. The Republic Starfighter Corps was a subsidiary of the Republic Navy, and as such it heavily relied on the naval branch for transport, supplies and tactical assistance. This still holds true even today within the Empire, so you better get comfortable with Imperial officers. The Republic Starfighter Corps pilots consisted of specialised clones, of which were trained and capable of flying a multitude of fighter craft, including the ARC 170 Starfighters, Alpha 3 Nimbus class V-Wing Starfighters, Clone Z-95 Headhunters, V-19 Torrent Starfighters, and the infamous Y-Wing Bombers. For Jedi use, there were a few interceptor models such as the Delta 7 Aether Sprite class Light Interceptor, the Delta 7B Aether Sprite class Light Interceptor, and lastly the Eta 2 Actus class Light Interceptor, those of which you don't see anymore. Each of these Starfighter models were capable of partaking in many different mission types, and were prominent in large-scale war operations involving the Republic Navy and Clone Army, like the Battle of Coruscant for example. All of these Starfighters would eventually be replaced by the Sienna-produced TIEs you all know today, but their niches and roles they fulfilled would live on, such as hit-and-runs, bombings, dogfights, atmospheric flights, blockades and full-scale assaults, all of which requires a pilot to know tactical strategy and squadron teamwork. As said before, the Imperial Starfighter Corps is a subsidiary of the Imperial Navy, meaning it consists of Imperial officers and TIE pilots within its rank hierarchy, with naval officers, captains, admirals, squadron leaders, lieutenants, overseeing the day-to-day operations of a squadron or fighter wings. TIE squadrons are assigned to a Star Destroyer, of which it is their duty to serve and protect the vessel they are stationed on, with one or more squadrons being a part of the standard destroyer crew, meaning once again that teamwork is extremely important, as your captain, colonel and flight officer depend on it, as well as the rest of your vessel's 40,000 crew members. Speaking of such, a key aspect of the Starfighter Corps is squadrons and fighter wings, which are the collective units and teams of starfighter pilots and TIEs that conduct missions and military operations. Squadrons usually consist of around 16 pilots, with a squadron leader being in charge of organising and giving instructions to wing members. These squadron leaders are the most experienced in terms of combat and ace flying, making them qualified to relay orders and give instructions, especially in the heat of battle, where making the correct decision could mean life or death, so listen closely the next time you're out there. TIE squadrons are put under the jurisdiction of the officers of the Star Destroyers that they are stationed on, with the captain or admiral being the first to relay instructions to the squadron leader or flight officer. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the most crucial part of the Imperial Starfighter Corps is the Starfighters themselves. There are many different variants of TIE fighters within the TIE series or family, each one fulfilling a role or niche. For example, the TIE Fighter, a well-placed all-rounded fighter, good at combat and dogfighting, being able to pack a punch while protecting its pilot. The TIE Interceptor, fast and almost unmatched in its speed and ferociousness, being able to quickly overwhelm and cripple enemy fighters. The TIE Bomber, a sturdy starfighter great at hit and runs against larger capital ships and opposing starfighters, being able to tank a lot of damage. And the TIE Reaper, a very effective support ship capable of swinging the tide of a battle with its capabilities to provide support and firepower for its squadron. These are just the 4 base models used in most Imperial Starfighter squadrons. There are many more models of TIE fighters that I could go into, but those are for another video. Being a part of the Imperial Starfighter Corps, you must understand that it is among the most dangerous roles to have within the Galactic Empire, the fatalities for TIE pilots being quite high. The reason for that is simple. The TIE line of fighters themselves are rather poorly made, designed to be expendable, at least compared to the likes of X-Wings and A-Wings that the Rebellion have. That does not make them any less dangerous though. It's being knowledgeable on how to correctly use them and what TIEs to choose on different missions can make all the difference when it comes to survivability out in battle or military operation. So speaking of such, what can you expect to be doing out in the field as a TIE pilot? Well, first things first, you will be expected to support, accompany and protect the Star Destroyer station or outpost that you are assigned to, conducting attacks, defences and patrols across the many different galactic sectors and the orders of your captain, admiral or any high-ranking Imperial official. These military activities can range from attacking rebel armies, destroying or defending cities, patrolling planets and scouting and surveillance, with differences depending on the galaxy's willingness to cooperate with the Imperial Armada. Warfare is where you will find yourself most active as a TIE pilot, performing dogfights and outgunning rebel pilots and capital ships to ensure victory for the Empire. Warfare and battles come in many different ways, and the Empire is certainly no stranger to that. But as said before, when it comes to fighting in battle, you will be expected to follow orders and assist your fellow squadron members, as well as the troopers on the ground. If you find yourself partaking in a space battle, there are many ways to achieve a desirable outcome, whether that be through wiping out enemy squadrons, destroying capital ships or attacking rebel holdout stations and outposts. Remember though, rebel pilots do fight back and hit hard, so do not let your guard down out there. As said before, an important aspect in large-scale space battles is protecting your Star Destroyer, as it provides you and your wing with support and instruction, so watch those shield generators. That's for another video though. And with that, I welcome you pilot to the Imperial Starfighter Corps. Thanks for watching, long live the Empire and may the Force be with you.